Yo. Welcome in, man. This is Cashed It with Chris, the NBA betting show / podcast. Today is November 22nd, 2022. And as always, man, we got a lot to talk about. That's typically how I start the show. We got a lot to talk about. Before we get started, though, I do want to tell you guys Monday, I said this before, but on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, the podcast is actually available for download and for listening. If you guys wanted to take a view on all streaming platforms, if you want to take a listen on all streaming platforms, it's not just on YouTube, it's not just on Twitter. So if you guys wouldn't mind, checking the podcast out, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys are listening to your podcast at, especially if you guys are listening late and you don't necessarily want to, feel like you need to see me and you just want to kind of, put your headphones in and listen. Check the podcast out on all the podcast streaming platforms as well. But I appreciate you guys as always, man, for getting up and being with me in the morning, being up early. What up, Anthony? I see you in the comment section, my brother. What's going on with you, man? As always, quick recap before we get into the 4 games that we have on the slate today. We went yesterday with the Cleveland Cavaliers, my best bet of the day. Talked about it a little bit on the morning show, made the video for Bet US, and then talked about it yesterday on the Crispy Cap and NBA show as well. Loved the spot for Cleveland yesterday, even though it was the 3rd game in 4 nights. And we see them respond well, man. That's what we were expecting. That's what I was expecting anyway from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just their ability to be able to play defense, even when they went through droughts where they couldn't score. They turned the ball over. A lot of inflicted wounds. They could have won that game by 20 points yesterday if if they didn't turn the ball over so much. They just extremely careless with the ball. We know Atlanta's going to, take care of the ball. They don't typically turn the ball over. Always one of the better teams in the league, when it comes to protecting the rock. But Cleveland was just giving it away left and right yesterday. But they end up winning the first half. I talked about that. They won the full game. Talked about that. So felt good to start off, 2-0. And then I also talked about Zach LaVine on the evening show as well. Zach LaVine over 20.5, just a bounce back spot for him after Billy Donovan benched him on, I think it was Saturday or Saturday when they lost that game to Orlando on the Jalen Green step back 3-pointer at home. So really like the spot for him. He had a 3 late in that game, top of the key, just about 25 seconds left. So you're talking about the ultimate sweat bet. That's exactly what that was. But it went in and we win. We've lost games, really, really close like that. And, now we've won one as well. So that feels good to, sweep the board and go 3-0. But on to today, man. It's always about, what comes next. We got a really funky slate today, man. We got the Nets and we got the 76ers and a 7.5 point spread. This we know that this Philadelphia 76ers team, I kind of talked about it just a tad bit yesterday. This Philadelphia 76ers team is man, they're going through it right now. A lot of injuries. Actually, their top 3 players all being out right now. They won't have Embiid. He's going to sit this one out. They also won't have James Harden, of course, for probably about another 2 weeks. And of course, Tyrese Maxey won't be available either. After he rolled his ankle pretty badly in not their last game, but in the game before their last game. So unfortunate for the 76ers. This is Ben Simmons' return to Philly though, so that's always going to make the game interesting. It's really difficult to cap these games, man, if I'm being honest with you guys. I don't have anything official, I'll tell you guys that. But I am looking at quite a few things that I just wanted to share, just bringing forth the information and sharing with you guys. If you guys wouldn't mind, hit the like button for me, man, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the like button if you're watching on Twitter as well. Retweet the show. Try to get as many people, listening to this early morning breakdown so you guys can take advantage of the early lines as possible. Don't mind doing the work. So first game up, let's go to this Nets and 76ers game. And I don't have a lot on this game. We actually still don't even have a total for this game. I don't see a total listed for this game. At least on a few sports books that I checked. I actually don't see a total listed. Well, I do see a total listed at 217.5. I don't see a total listed for any of the other games is what I should say. And you see some money kind of come in on Philly already. The spread has gone down from 7.5 to 6.5. These teams that are supposed to be winning these games, by 8.5, 9.5, 10.5 points. They haven't been covering. They have not been covering. We saw Miami, real scrappy team yesterday. Cover that game in Minnesota, and also have the lead at the end of the first quarter, and they had the lead at the end of halftime. So, not to say that the Nets can't come in here and cover, because the 76ers will be extremely shorthanded today. Shake Milton will be out there. DeAnthony Milton will be out there. They have Paul Reed out there. Guys like Montrezl Harrell should step up. He should be able to play big minutes without Joel Embiid being there. We'll see how he reacts to the minute increase, because Coach Glenn Rivers will be looking for a guy like Montrez to step up. But I mean, you know what? I don't really have a lot on this game. I think Kyrie is slowly trying to integrate himself back into the offense. Philly typically does well against guards, so I was looking at. I think I got Kyrie unders in my bet slip, but I haven't placed it. I just feel like having a full assortment of weapons now, with Kyrie being back in the lineup. Of course, Joe Harris is there. Seth is back. Kyrie probably won't have to have such a big game. You can get his points, rebounds, and assists right now at 29.5, and probably looking towards the under. Ben Simmons has been involved as a playmaker. Kevin Durant has also been involved as a playmaker. And we see Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal's assist has been a sneaky look. I don't know if you guys been paying attention to it. I think he had 8 assists in his last game against Memphis. So Kyrie hasn't had to, distribute the ball as much. So I do think if you play it, you definitely want to take his points, rebounds, and assists, just because Brooklyn has been sharing the ball, a lot lately. And like I said, it's real scary to take unders, but I do feel like if you're going to take Kyrie, you probably want to take the points, rebounds, and assists under. Just because this game does have the potential to be a blowout, and it doesn't have to necessarily be Kyrie that's going out here and scoring all the points in this one. Also, to note on this game before I move on, this is also a revenge game for Seth Curry, right? We know Seth was on this Sixers team before being traded, so it wouldn't surprise me if he went off today. So I don't even think we have his props available, but that was just something that kind of came to mind, something that I'll be looking at throughout the day. But yeah, I'm not going to take too much time on this game. Just kind of wanted to give you guys my thoughts. What up? What up, Free Minds? West Coast, my God. What's up, man? Early morning over there on the West Coast, 4 a.m. Appreciate you being here, Free Minds. What up, Frank? LJ said, what's up from H-Town? What up, LJ? So I got Houston in the building. Appreciate y'all for sure, man. Free Minds said, everybody and their mama look like they on the Kings. Got me a little worried with the Grizzlies at home. Remember how they played without Ja last year? What up, who you? Free Minds, you know what, bro? Let's go to that game, man. Let's go to that game, because I got some interesting thoughts on that game too. Nothing that I locked in. What up, Si? My brother. What up, Si? Let's go to that game though. So Kings and the Grizzlies, right? This one opened that the Grizzlies actually favored by 1 point, and you see the money's continuing to come in on the Kings. So if you want the Kings, you might want to take them now. I don't think that they'll probably close as a 1 point favorite. So the line is totally flipped in this one. The Grizzlies are at home. The Kings are on the road for their first road game in quite a while. I'm gonna get into this game. So matter of fact, let's get into it. We still don't have a total for this one. And I think we know, most of who's gonna be playing, who's not. Ja's listed as doubtful in this game. Don't think he's gonna be there. Desmond Bane also isn't supposed to be available for this game either. We know how the manipulation of the injury report can be though. So yeah, I think it's the best game on the board by far today though. So Kings, they come into this one 9-6 straight up, 11-4 ATS on the season. One of the best against the spread records so far this season. This team is, absolutely on a heater right now, but they haven't played on the road in quite some time. And even on the road, they've been well, right? They're 8-2 against the spread and straight up in their last 10. And for the Kings, this will be their first road game since November 11th. So you're looking at 11 games since they actually been on the road. They played their last 4 straight games at home, and they come into this one off 1 day's rest. And a hard-fought win against a Detroit team where they didn't cover in that game either. The Kings are also, they're 3-0 against the spread on the road this season, so they have played well, but they are also 0-3 straight up on the road as well. They lost to the Warriors in that first game, where the Warriors was actually smacking them up, and they came back and showed something towards the end of that game and then they went to Miami. They lost that game, but that was the game that Tyler Hero traveled. They probably, should have went to overtime or maybe even won that game. And then they come back to Golden State, a couple days after that, and they lose that game. But that was the game that Kevin Huerter got fouled at least 2 or 3 times, and by Klay Thompson. They didn't call it, so they've been in every single one of these games, even though they are 0-3 straight up and 3-0, against the spread. This to me seems like a king spot. It seems like a king spot to me. The Grizzlies being at the crib is a tad bit scary. They are 10-7 on the season, but only 6-11 against the spread. But the scary part is they have played a lot better at home. They're 5-2 ATS at the crib. The Grizzlies are also 6-0 straight up at the crib as a favorite and 4-2 against the spread. So to me, the Grizzlies, their wins at the crib, when you go through and you dissect them, they aren't as impressive as their actual record, right? They have home wins this year against the Knicks. They didn't even cover that spread. And this was with Ja, of course, against the Nets. And this was before, the Kyrie suspension. And we saw this good version of the Nets. They actually turned on the defensive intensity. They also have wins against the Hornets. That's not impressive. Against the Wizards, that's not impressive. And that was without Bill. I think that was without Porzingis as well. They have a win against the Timberwolves, and that was before the Timberwolves, start to turn it on recently and go on their little win streak. And they got a win against the Thunder. So for me, those teams that I just mentioned, Knicks, Nets, Hornets, Wizards, Timberwolves, and Thunder, they don't stack up as well as a Sacramento team that looks like they're coming for everything, that feels like they've been owed, right? Especially offensively. This team, has a bunch of scorers, a bunch of playmakers, which actually leads me to one of my looks I'm looking at. I haven't locked in anything, like I said already, full transparency, but De'Aaron Fox, man, this dude has been on fire. He's been on a heater. I'm looking at his points plus assists. I see the line sitting at 32.5. Fox is shooting 57% from the field on the road this season. And not to say that he's not shooting well at home. He's shooting 55% at the crib, which, both of those are, they'll probably regress to the mean at some point. But, you get a Memphis team at the crib. We know that they play with pace, especially when they're at home. Tyus Jones going to come in there and run that offense, the best that he can, with the weapons that he has at his disposal. But that 57% from the field road shooting has translated into 26 points for De'Aaron Fox. You see his point prop at 25.5 right now. He's averaging 25 at the crib, 26 on the road. He's also the head of the snake when you look at the Kings, right? They go as he go. In a game that's predicted to be extremely close, because we see, a 1-point spread, depending on the book that you're looking at. I think they use him in the fourth quarter to kind of take over the game. I think he's averaging like 6.7, close to 7 points in the fourth quarter, which is probably, I think, is like top 10, top 15 in the fourth quarter. And there's also the theory, I always talk about this, the theory, of superstars, or at least superstar talents, kind of taking over the game on the road, when the role players typically play better, at the crib. So I do look for Fox to have a big game in this one. I like Fox a lot. They might put Dylan Brooks on him, but you can't really guard De'Aaron Fox, man. Dude gets out in transition, and if he's not scoring, he's assisting, right? So that's why I think I like the assist plus points a little bit better. I do think that he goes over the 32.5. We could potentially see, 35 from Fox in that regard. So that's probably my top look. And like I said, I do like the Kings. I like the Kings. I know it's the first game on the road. I know that Memphis is going to be motivated. They like to protect their home court. But I think without Ja, without Desmond Bane, it's a really good spot to buy this Kings team in, shorthanded, even though it is their first game on the road. So that's my thoughts on that game. What you guys talking about in the chat? Y'all with me on that? What up, Brian? Appreciate you being here. My God, Lando, what up, bro? Kings were dogs. Grabbed it ASAP if you like it. Yeah, that's a fact. You do want to grab him as a dog, or you want to get him as a favorite, minus the 1, because this line is moving. Like I said, yesterday the Grizzlies were actually favored last night when this line came out. They were 1-point favorites, and now you see the line shift all the way to I'm seeing it, where the Kings have already become the favorite, and they're 1-point favorites. So couldn't talk anybody off of just kind of watching this game. But if I had to play on this one, I'd be taking the Kings, man. I think, like I said, the Memphis going to be motivated, but the Kings should be able to get it done. They got a lot of offense, guys like Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray. Sabonis, I think, will not be the primary offensive option because he'll be battling down there with Steven Adams and Jared Jackson Jr., who are really good defenders. And I'm interested in the total too. I can't wait till we get an actual total, man. That's what I was looking for. I wanted to cap the total. But yeah, that's what I kind of got for you guys in that one. Moving along, because we only got what, 2 more games to talk about? Yeah, we got 2 more games to talk about. And I might not get to all of it. Matter of fact, I'll save the Lakers and the Suns because we don't know the status of LeBron and if he's going to come back in that Laker game or not. But I do want to touch on this Pistons and the Nuggets game. This is another game where we don't have a lot of information, man. The Pistons, they're coming off the hard-fought loss against against the Sacramento Kings on Sunday. And before that, they lost to the Lakers. And before that, they lost to the Clippers. So 3-game losing streak on the West Coast. They will still be without Sadiq Bey, but they get a Nuggets team that's also a little hampered as well, right? Jamal Murray is listed as doubtful health protocol. Same thing with Jokic, listed as doubtful health protocol. Aaron Gordon is listed as questionable, which is why you don't see a lot of props and why you see this spread only at 6.5. If the Nuggets was full strength, this would be a 9.5, 10-point spread. Those guys do mean that much to the offense and to the point spread in this one. So the Nuggets, they on the opposite side, they come in off the win, the upset win. They were 10-point dogs, 9.5-point dogs in that game against the Dallas Mavericks on Sunday. They won as an outright dog after losing the game before, shorthandedly in Dallas as well. So 1-1 on that road trip. Now they come back home. And what I'm looking at in this one, man, I don't know, how the injury stuff is going to play out because we see guys get upgraded from doubtful to questionable and then end up playing and vice versa all the time. But I will say if those guys don't play, if Jokic doesn't play, if Jamal Murray doesn't play, you got to look at Bones Highland. This guy is absolutely killing it right now. I typically don't like going back to players who kind of just went off in their last game. And Bones did have 29 points and 6 assists in his most recent game. He had 17 points and 6 assists in the first game where they played against Dallas in Dallas. And his props aren't even available yet. But one thing that I'm looking at when I'm taking player props is usage rate. Bones has a 34% usage rate without Jamal Murray and without Jokic being on the floor over the last 2 games. And that was against a much better defensive team in the Dallas Mavericks. They play a lot better defense than this Detroit Pistons team on any day of the week. It's light years better. So, and then you take this into consideration. Detroit is also allowing the second most points to point guards. They absolutely get smoked by point guards. We've seen that all year. They're allowing the 5th most threes to point guards as well. And this is all over the past 7 games specifically. So I like Bones a lot, man. I like Bones a lot in this spot tonight. If we get Jamal Murray and Jokic both ruled out, Michael Porter Jr. is definitely, has to be, I'm sorry, Michael Porter Jr. I always get them confused. Michael Porter Jr. plays for the Denver Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. also has to be in play, looks at him as well. Those are my kind of thoughts, man. I think the Pistons could keep this game close. I would not look for the Nuggets to be winning by 7 first game back. Pistons, in desperate need of a win as well. But the Pistons defense is terrible. They just, continue to give up points. They are scrappy in the, from a sense of them being able to score. Shout out to Jaden Ivey. Dudes look good. Marvin Bagley III has been implemented into their offense and, slowly but surely starting to look good. But they're without Cade Cunningham, without Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Livers has played well. Alex Burks, if you guys have been watching him, he's played pretty well. So I do think that the Pistons can keep up with this shorthanded Nuggets offense. But if they don't have, Jamal Murray and Jokic, I'll probably be looking towards the Pistons in this game. Aaron Gordon, him being listed as questionable is a big impact as well. So those are my thoughts, man. More than anything, though, I would be looking at Bones Highlands to make a big impact in this game, both points and assist wise. And that's what I got for you guys. Nothing official that I played, but I'm probably going to get on the Kings. I do like the Kings in this spot against the shorthanded Memphis Grizzlies. And De'Aaron Fox, his points plus assist line, 32.5 is something that I'm looking at as well. And that's what I got for you guys, man. 20 minutes in the books. Appreciate you guys for being here. Like I said, like the show, retweet the show if you guys can. Let me get to the comment section. I also want to mention this because I know a lot of people wasn't here when the show started this morning. The podcast, if you guys are not wanting to watch it on Twitter and on YouTube, it is available for for streaming and listening purposes for you guys on all podcast streaming platforms. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just search Crispy Captain, search Cashed It with Chris, and you'll see it pop up. Leave me a review over there too, man. I appreciate that. If you guys left me a review, hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Send me your plays as well. Mike said, love the Kings, man. They give me last year Grizzlies vibes. That's a fact. Yeah, they play hard too. They play hard for Coach Mike Brown, man. He has them guys playing defense too. I think that's the most important thing. You don't typically want to play a team that's coming off such a long stint at home, but it still feels like the right side for me. It definitely feels like the right side for me. Sean Marion said he's looking at Jared Jackson Jr. props tonight. Bones howling 3+3, 7 straight games. I saw that, LJ. Dude been on fire. He done hit 5 a couple times. I do like Bones a lot tonight, man. I like him a lot tonight. Was there a specific player in the Kings game you were looking at? I missed it. Yeah, I'm looking at De'Aaron Fox, Mike. And all these are always recorded, so you can go back and listen to my breakdown on De'Aaron Fox and why I think he could be the guy tonight. To kind of go off. But yeah, Lando Wright, bro. Tell a friend to tell a friend. That's it right there, man. But yeah, I'm out, man. Appreciate you guys as always. Best of luck on your action today. As we get more injury news, of course, we'll be able to make more plays. We'll get more totals as well. And shout out to Maryland. I see that, KC. Maryland did just go live yesterday. Sports books are open. I got the email from FanDuel right up the street from me. Shout out to Maryland, man. I'm glad you guys have access now to being able to sports bet. So if you're in Maryland, tell a friend about the show too, man. I appreciate you guys as always, man. Tap back in with me at 5:15 Eastern time. We'll get into some official plays as injury news break, as we get more, lines around totals and player props and things like that. Best of luck to you guys on all your action today as always, man. And check the podcast out, man. Leave me a 5-star review on the podcast, man. I appreciate you guys. I'm out.